This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, streaming January 25th, only on Netflix.
This is Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Central Texas Life, the podcast. Ann Harder here. Andrew Gomez. Who is the host of the Public Affairs podcast.
That's right.
And I've been looking forward to this.
Have you?
For a lot. I have.
I've been looking forward to this as well.
Well, you know, it's been a little while, and I was on
you were
the
on my
Public.
show.
I was on your show.
Yes,
It was
you
so
were.
much fun. And I said, I need to, and then life got in the way, and
Yes, I
time
already know.
passes. Ran into you at DeCampley's.
That's right. I was eating at DeCampley. Shout out to DeCampley. Shout out to Massimo.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on this podcast.
Oh, has
Have
he?
you had him on your podcast?
I've not had Massimo.
They have
Yes.
the most darling
Yeah.
story about how they met.
Okay.
You really
They're a
should.
couple. They're like
Well,
a
he and his
couple.
wife, and the
his wife,
kids and all
okay.
that. Yeah.
I
So-
love couples on my show. I
Right.
get down to the nitty gritty with couples.
Oh,
That's
well,
my favorite,
anyway,
and it's my favorite.
Anyway,
darling.
yeah,
Yes.
DeCampley's is a great place. In fact,
Okay.
we were eating there prior to a symphony concert.
You looked
know,
gorgeous, by the way.
So
You look
I actually
stunning.
had my hair put up. So
Yeah,
it
well,
was-
listen, I rolled out of bed to go to DeCampley's because he low-key invited me to go, and then I did, but I was just like in shorts and a sweater, you know, because I was just running errands, and so when I saw you, I was like, oh, so underdressed for Ann Harder, darling. Yeesh.
Well, and I was a little overdressed
the
for
sequins
DeCampley's.
dress, darling. She was looking gorgeous, sparkling. You look like
we
that
were
sparkling
a
wine.
little bit, but
Yes.
DeCampley's is one of those restaurants that it kind of partners with the symphony.
Okay.
That so you tell them that you're going to the symphony concert, and they
sure.
get you in and out in time to get to the concert, which
Yes.
is really neat. There's several
Okay.
restaurants in town, but anyway, kind of in our section of the city, we'd love to go there.
Oh,
and-
sweet. Okay, yeah.
delicious.
I love
Okay.
Italian food. I'm an
Totally,
Italian. Yes.
totally no
I agree.
payback, no kickback at all from DeCampley's.
No, it's all
but
good.
that's where I saw you, and I said, "Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I need to get."
Well, I just have
Andrew.
to say, when you were on the Public Affair, it was like such a pivotal moment for me in my career because you don't understand. I've been in media at that time. It was only like 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, for somebody like you who is a media veteran in my eyes, we all know from the news, and now you do the podcast, and you were doing podcasts, I think, before me. And so for somebody like you to agree to come on my show, which, you know, is probably a different direction than what this show is, I was at the highest honor. Like, you don't understand. So I
Wow.
really thank you for taking the time to do that. And guys have to remember, Ann like took the seat that I'm supposed to sit on. I just said,
I know.
she
I
can just
said
sit there.
No. I'm supposed to be the guest.
But that's
you know,
okay.
and-
Whatever Ann wants, she gets. Just let her do it.
No,
Okay. And
you insisted.
No, listen.
And so that's why I sat up here. But yeah, you just have a gift
Thank you.
of making people feel special.
Ann,
I mean, that
stop.
is a very no, that really
Yes.
that is a gifting that
Thank
you
you.
have.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Make people to feel well. So I want to get to know you a
Sure.
little bit better. Where are you from? You know,
Yeah.
how did you kind of get to this point?
For sure. And so I am originally from Long Island, New York. Okay. I've been living in Texas for a little over 15 years now.
Okay, what brought you to Texas?
My parents decided when I was 14 years old that it was time for a change in their life. And so we moved to Texas. Actually, we moved to Miami, Florida at first. A lot of people
Oh,
didn't know that. Yeah.
okay.
But that was like 6 months. It was just kind of in
Miami's
between.
kind of fun too.
Yeah, it was all right. So it didn't work out there. We were driving back to New York. And on the way back to New York, my dad was like, oh, I have have a sister in Texas. And we were like, oh, that would be fun. Texas is different.
Yeah.
We were low-key kind of homeless, like not to sound dark or anything, but that we didn't know where to go. So we were like, okay,
you were kind of in a
Texas.
transitional point.
Transitional point. My parents, I will say, shout out to my mom and dad. They've come a long way in their lives, for sure. And I've learned from them, and, not to make the same types of mistakes, but no shade on them. But yeah, we moved to Texas, and we moved to Lorena, Texas, because that's where my aunt lives, which is terrible. And can you imagine living in Long Island, New York, and Miami, Florida, and then Lorena, Texas?
We're talking culture shock.
That was like an understatement. I cried. And so actually, the change,
especially at that stage. I mean, at that age, that's such a it's a hard age anyway,
yes,
period. No matter what.
I left behind all my friends that I grew up with, all the family that we grew up with, and we basically started anew at 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
That was hard on me. I went through a really rough period in that time in my life. But, I think everything was for the best, and everything turned out the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to my parents for making that change, because I think that without that change, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Sure.
And it wouldn't have molded me into the person that I am today.
Right.
So at the beginning, I was resentful for them. I was like, why did you do that for?
Yeah, that which does not kill you makes you stronger, right?
I got into media when I was 24, I believe, 23, 24. I started at the radio station, KWPW, Power 108. Had a weekend show there. I came up under the great Chrissy. Shout out to Chrissy.
Chrissy? Absolutely.
I love Chrissy. And
in fact, she and I served on a jury together.
Oh, did you really?
Isn't she great? I just love her. That was really the most time I'd kind of spent with her. We had jury duty.
But I will say that coming up under a veteran like her as well was, again, pivotal for me, because she really, in this business, we meet a lot of people that aren't the same as Chrissy. You know what I mean? That don't want to help you and stuff like that. And she really took me under her wing and helped me find my voice, helped me produce commercials, how to do everything. And I feel like a lot of the skills that I possess today is because of her. It's
technical work.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's you have to learn how to do it. So
definitely. So then we fast forward 5 years into the radio careers when I started the Public Affair, and now we've been going on 3 years in July.
Can you believe it?
It's crazy. It seems like it was just yesterday.
The very first Central Texas Living at the time, now Central Texas Life, was April 1st, 3 years ago. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. So we're because I remember going to meet with Mike, I believe it was like in May, and he says, "Oh, Ann Harder records a podcast here, and she's so professional." I was like, God, could you imagine if I had her on the Public Affair one day? No, there's no way she would do it, right? Because my show's definitely a little bit risque, but Ann didn't care. She's not judgmental. She came on anyway, and I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it so much.
We didn't get risque.
We didn't get too risque. I did say that I had a crush on Brew Geetson, but that was different. That was different. Okay, and I never slid in his DMs, Ann. I promise I didn't. Okay, because he said he was married, and I don't want those problems.
Right.
No, but again, it's been such a blessing, this journey, honestly, and all the doors that's opened for me with the success of the Public Affair.
Well, and of course you work very hard at it.
Yes.
I mean, you have some wonderful sponsors.
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to talk about folks that are kind of linking arms with you on this.
Yeah, for sure. I freaking forgot my iPad. Otherwise, I would have gave a shout out to all the.
You have a lot.
In the 3 years, I've had at least 50 local entrepreneurs or businesses sponsor the Public Affair.
Great.
Right now, I have about 15 that are active. Some do. It's just. It's a blessing, I don't want to forget anybody. That's the problem. So,
don't worry about listing.
But everybody, you listen, go on the Public Affair, youtube.com/the Public Affair, or just go on my Facebook page and I give the sponsors all the promotion, because it's really because of them that the show can be in production. Because we know Rogue sends us them invoices, and they're a bit pricey, darling. So they help out a lot. So but it's really great being backed by a lot of local entrepreneurs and businesses, that really love the Public Affair as much as I do. So it's very much a blessing. I'm very grateful for that.
Well, the whole advent of podcasting, this is something, years ago, my beginnings were in radio, and I still listen to radio, love radio. But this is so different, and it's a whole different world now for advertisers, and so forth. So I
think a lot of people don't realize that, like in radio, it's a job, so we get paid a salary or whatever the case is. There's really no money in podcasts, so everybody thinks I'm rich now, right? And everybody thinks I'm like rich, and I'm like richy rich. I'm like, ooh, I'm broke like you. Get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, no way. So that's why it's really great to have, again, local businesses that help push the show and everything. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Well, you've had some wonderful folks
Thank you.
On the show.
Love
and
'em.
so, tell me about some of your, and again, it's like picking your favorite child, which you don't want to try to do.
Listen, I'm getting ready to release my 140, by the time this show comes out, 147-ish.
Really?
Yeah, something like that. We put out an episode every single Monday since July 6, 2020. Shout out to Rogue. And so,
amen.
yes,
Thank you, Mike.
and I'm so grateful that we haven't missed the Monday. But and what I really enjoy about the show, and I think that what people appreciate the show, is that it is super diverse. I don't just focus on one thing.
Absolutely it is. Yeah.
Exactly. So I will have the local entrepreneur or business owner on the show to talk about their business, but then I also have the adult model that comes on and talks about doing their adult model things. You know what I mean? And then sometimes I just like to have a couple on the show and talk about the adversities that they faced, and that helps
just
strengthen
life.
their relationship. Stuff like that. And I try to make it relatable. See, I've met a lot of people in this business that kind of pull the wool over everybody's eyes and wants to portray a certain persona as who they are. And I just want to be myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's why people like it, because it's so relatable to everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, we all make these silly mistakes in our lives and things that we probably regret, but that's what part of being a human is,
Right, and that's how we learn.
That's how we learn. We learn from our mistakes. And it goes to show you that no one person is perfect, no matter what their status is in the city or in the country or the world or whatever the case is.
Right, and everybody has problems.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got
we all
challenges,
go through things,
and
don't you think?
and
911, what's your emergency?
Do you hear that? It's coming from the house.
It's coming from inside the house? Do you mean? Could it be?
The Poltergeist. New from Rogue Media. Two haunted hotties talking about haunted places. Every episode we dive deep into the darkest places and give you a bit of history.
We're getting spooky in all the right places.
You've gobbled your last ghoul.
Follow along for the craziest and spookiest stories with Debbie's Dark Tourism. The Stanley Hotel,
Winchester House,
The Alamo,
Hotel Monte Vista,
and more spooky places. Find us at _Poltergals. POLTERGALS.
Look over your shoulder. It's us,
The Poltergals. Wherever you consume the podcast, you can find us there.
What are we doing here, Rusty? What are we going to do?
Yep, we're doing the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast. Yeah, so we're going to go through one episode at a time. Come along for the ride with us.
Come check it out.
And give me a good like Dale Gribble quote to go out on. Wingo.
Yeah, Wingo.
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 All right. Well, join us for the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
Deep in the heart of Texas, that drinks his brew and he spits his chew. Deep in the heart of Texas, the TV blares but no one cares. Deep in the heart of Texas, here we go.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Brooks Running has a new shoe for you runners out there. Did you hear that? Better turn up your volume. In fact, turn it up to the max. Introducing the all-new Ghost Max. It's got all kinds of things to make your knees and ankles feel protected, like Max Cushion, Max Soft Landings with DNA Loft V2 foam, and Max Smooth Rides with their Glide Roll Rocker. Feel better on your run with Ghost Max. Learn more at brooksrunning.com.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
So I kind of want to get into the whole social media thing because you are really brilliant at using social media to promote public affairs. Yeah, no. It really it's an art, and
yes.
and yet social media gets a rap for a lot of bad stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it can. Well, because it is a way you can kind of craft your brand, if you will, and who you are and all that kind of stuff. And we just want to show how, the wonderful trips we take and the this and the that, let's talk a little bit about that, your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so social media to me, if I didn't have the public affair, I would get rid of it completely.
Really?
I would definitely get rid of it completely because it is a double-edged sword. And while it's a great tool for promotion, my biggest...
And it is a good way to communicate.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's a communication.
I got reconnected with a lot of my friends in New York that I grew up with.
I know. Birthdays, aren't they? They're the most fun.
Yes, definitely. And so it's my biggest source of promotion for the show, obviously, is Facebook. And, with the success of anything, and I'm sure too, per experience, comes a lot of people spread rumors about you now, and people say this, that, or the other. And sometimes it gets a little gamey and dicey, but you have to remember what you're in this for. You know what I mean?
Right,
you have to remember that you do this because you love it.
And you know who you are and what you... I mean, do you get these spam things?
All the time.
Where it's like well, I don't know. You get a little edgy, so I can see. But it's like, you're the standards. You have violated the standards and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like...
Well, Ann,
no, I haven't.
I never violate the standards because I did get kicked off for a few days one time. Because, friends and I were joking, and I said I would go punch him in the face. So obviously I was joking. I would never punch anybody in the face.
Yeah, I was saying, I'm going to beat you to death.
Yeah, and they flagged me for 3, and I couldn't promote for 3 days, which hurt a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm very mindful, and yes, I do post a lot of things that are funny and probably risque and edgy, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
But, I try to stay in the guidelines because, Facebook is a little sensitive right now, and I think people are too now. Ann.
Oh,
it's just a joke.
I know people have lost their sense of humor.
Haven't they? It's like lame.
Really, you got... Anyway,
no, they have. Listen, and that's why I like my show, because I grew up in the 90s. I was born in 1991. And I remember when I was growing up, everything was allowed, especially when it was when you were allowed to, when you were being funny and you were trying to entertain people.
Yeah.
Everything was allowed. No joke was no holds bars.
Right.
And so that's what I do on my show. So when I talk about, sliding in some man's DMs, which is the term that they use now, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, which means messaging them to, have fun.
Right.
So when I talk about things like that, it's just to be funny. And very few people, I will say, I don't get too much backlash for things like that. It's just other things. You know what I mean?
And
they call them haters, darling.
Oh gosh.
That's it. Yeah.
Anyway, but that kind of thing is, the whole social media. I think what I'm probably the most concerned about is how kids, younger kids, adolescent, like when you were an adolescent, just imagine if all this stuff had been thrown at you as well as just the things you were dealing with with life anyway. But, where they really, they they don't have the maturity to go, oh, it's just whatever. It's a joke or it's this or that.
Yes.
You know, they internalize everything so much.
Yes.
And then, you know,
kids these days are exposed to way too much. And I just think that, that people, I'm 31 years old. I'll be 32 this year. And I think that everybody below a certain age group, I shouldn't say what age group because I'll get a lot of flack, but they just have different ethics in terms of work and lifestyle and moralities. You know what I mean? And I think that I couldn't imagine being 15 years old and having access to like Facebook. We didn't have that. You know what I mean? We didn't just have it on the palm of our hands. Right. It was like a commodity to find a computer with internet. So you can have your MySpace, you know what I mean? And then you were the coolest kid in the world because you could do that, you know? And so I just think that a lot of kids and a lot of adolescents, they are exposed to a lot more. And it's causing a lot of rifts and stuff in terms of like crimes, you know what I mean? Like even adults meeting, it's disgusting, you know? And so,
I mean, it's really scary stuff, life-threatening stuff.
I don't know.
For them.
Oh, goodness. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, you know, and of course, these just bring up, I think of people that I've talked to, like Susan Peters with Unbound, you know, and folks that, you know, have kind of dedicated their life to trying to stop things like sex trafficking and, you know, that kind of thing. And these little critters can be pretty dangerous.
A double-edged sword. And, you know, again, nothing is ever private on the internet. Even the apps that they post where it's like, oh, you know, they'll see the picture one time and then they'll never see it.
Oh, and then
again.
It disappears. And then never believe that.
Don't believe that. Believe me, I'm victim to that.
Really?
Yes, you know, and so which, you know, nothing that I'm ashamed of, Anne. But
I mean,
but that's the case. People have to realize that whatever you put, and then even things like I was just talking to a friend of mine where in 2011 I happened to come across his post because I was looking for a picture of him to use for a promotion, and I was like, wow, you were such a different person in 2011 than we are in 2023. You can pull stuff up like that, and people can use things like that against you. You know what I mean? Like, well, remember in 2011 where you were saying this, that. It's like,
it never
crazy.
goes away.
It never goes away. It's just always there. So
well, and back, you know, when I was working, you know, and they'd ask me to come and speak to a class, you know, of students or whatever, second grade on up, you know, the Baylor students. But I would tell them, and this was before, you know, this was just at the beginnings of all this kind of stuff. But I said, never, ever put anything on that you wouldn't want to sit on a news desk at a television station and broadcast.
Okay.
Because that's what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, now with, you know, everything is recorded and everything is played back, thrown back. You know, back we were talking about making mistakes, you know, and kind of slip of the tongue or whatever, and you want to, can we stop and start over kind of thing. Yeah. You know, I would make mistakes on the air, like everybody makes mistakes on the air, and I would think, well, it was just out there and they did it. No,
people,
it's on a blooper reel. I mean, all these mistakes, and they do make for funny viewing.
Yeah, they do for the most part, but you know,
but anyway, it's nothing just goes off into the ether and disappears.
For sure.
It just doesn't.
And you know, I try to be not really, but like I will do hostings at like quinceañeras and stuff. I get booked for hostings and stuff. And I have a lot of like teenagers come up to me and say, oh my God, you're that YouTube guy. And you know, we always like, I click on the video not made for kids. So you would think they can't see it, but somehow they have access to everything. You know what I mean? And you know, listen, your parents are in charge of censoring what's appropriate for you. My show is not appropriate for kids.
No,
it's not. I have had some teenage guests, you know what I mean, on the show, which yes, you should watch those. You know what I mean?
Right, because you tone it down.
But you know, sometimes I wonder, like, it's just crazy how easy it was for them to access it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even with the blocks that I put. Still, you know, so I don't know. It just we're living in different times, Anne.
Yeah, it makes me. I'm glad I'm not raising kids.
Well, I don't have any kids either, so there you go.
I mean, and I have grandchildren, but
I will say too, in retrospect, going back to that, I'm grateful because some of them are inspired by me as well. Like, it could be like some gay kid and it's like, I want to be like you when I'm your age. You know what I mean?
More confident.
You know, and I hope one day I can be on your show too, because I'm playing really good soccer and I seen that you had a really good soccer playing show and I look up to that soccer player and I like the way you talk to him. So it's things like that. Like that's a cool feeling.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, what are you watching the show for? You know what I mean? Like, so it's weird. Yeah, for sure.
I hear that. Well, I mean, what are your plans? I mean, where do you see all this going?
I don't want this to be a cop-out, right? Because when I was on the radio, I said that I was going to be one of the biggest radio DJs, and then that didn't happen, right? And so I ended up...
So good to have goals.
Well, it's good to have goals. And then I ended up getting the full-time position that I worked so hard for, and then that ended. And then I ended up starting a podcast, which if you would have told me I was ever going to have a podcast, that
you wouldn't
was
have believed
one of
it.
the biggest in Waco. I would have never believed.
And you
like,
absolutely
no way.
do, yeah.
And I'm great. First of all, thank you to the community. Thank you to everybody in Waco that supports the show. And thank God, Jesus, thank God, because it's pulled me out of some places. And I don't have much plans in terms of the future. I'm right now living in the moment. And I know that sounds like a cop-out. But
and when I thought, I'm going to ask him this question, but I'm thinking... I don't,
Well,
at my point in life, thinking, wait, no, what do you want to be doing in 5 years? I want to be around.
I just want to, I just want to be relevant still. Okay? I still want the show to exist. I want my show to make a stamp on the world. That if I go tomorrow, and I sound dark and cryptic when I say that, I just recently had a friend that passed, and it really helps you realize. No, thank you. And it really helps you realize how short life is.
Oh, it is.
And so I'm just living in this moment right now. And if I go after this. I want the public affair to live on, and people say, God, but that was really Andrew. Do you know what I mean? And so we have something to live off of him now. You know what I mean? Or remember him by.
Right.
So that's what I want. That's the goal for this show, for sure.
Yeah. And that's, and I kind of see these in a way, Central Texas Live as sort of like oral history in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's recorded. If somebody Googles your name, this interview will come up.
Yes.
And there's some that I've had on in the past who have passed, and it's really, to me, it's important.
Yeah, definitely.
To be able to and then talk about historical stuff in Waco and just fun stuff. So I've thoroughly enjoed this. I never dreamed I'd be doing a podcast.
Isn't it great
either.
though? Yes. I just knew I was going to be on the radio for the rest of my life, and then that didn't happen. But I'm grateful that we have to remember how powerful our voices are on the microphone, and how much we actually influence and inspire people. You don't know that you influenced me a lot as well. Do you know what I mean? I want to be you in the years to come. Wow. Still looking gorgeous and put together and running and relevant. Okay.
You see why I like
I do. I just want to walk around with my sequence outfit into Decamples and steal the show. That's all I want to do. Okay.
Hair put up.
Listen,
and the whole bit.
And when I'm 32 right now, so in 20 years, I hope that I can be like that. I want my poodle and my handbag or whatever with my shades this big and my sequence outfit walking into Decamples like, Massimo, more pasta. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No,
and speaking of which, the more pasta and the putting on weight. I think I read where you were working out. I wanted to talk to you about working out.
Let's do it. Talk to me about whatever. Yes.
Okay, so tell me about your workout regime.
Okay, so I started working out. I was really fat when I started the public affair. You should go watch episode 1 to 17 or something like that. I started working out at big shout out to Soco Soccer Academy on Franklin.
Oh, okay.
They now focus on individual skills training and group fitness training for kids and stuff, or soccer training. At the time they had a gym, and they do like CrossFit. And so that's what I was doing.
Oh yeah,
and I started
that's
there.
that's strenuous.
They were all athletes. They were just like cut soccer players. They've been doing this their whole life. And I was the fattest one there, and I couldn't even jump on the box or step on it. I couldn't do a squat. I couldn't run to the fence and back. It was terrible. But ever since then, I have been doing CrossFit for the last 2.5 years.
Bless your heart.
Right now, I'm doing it with Monica at FabFit at the South Waco Rec Center on the evening. So we're actually doing a CrossFit competition next Saturday, which I'm really excited about.
What is it competition?
It's oh goodness, if I get this wrong, don't get mad at me. It's the Festivus Games, and it's somewhere over there by Austin. I don't know. We're going to Pluckers after that, but so it's over there somewhere.
After you work out, you gotta go. You gotta recarbo load.
We've been training for this like relentlessly.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And so I think it's just for sport and for fun, just to kind of be active. But there, you do win and stuff like that. So I have a team.
That's fun.
And we're called 2.5 Men.
So are there like judges? They go, oh, he lifted it.
You didn't squat enough and this and that. You weren't in sync. And so I want to give a shout out to my team right now. We're called 2.5 Men with my good friend Mauro Maldonado and our other friend Hector Salazar, who works out with us. And it's called 2.5 Men because I'm really the half a man, but they think that Mauro's the half a man because he's like this tall and you know what I mean? So that it's like a double entendre. But anyway, no, I work out, and a lot of people ask me, they see the weight loss on the show.
Right.
And what's the secret? Well, there is no secret. Go work out. And eat right. Nobody wants to do that. We want to take the easy way out. And it's it's not. And it's been the most effective for me. And so I work out every day.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
That's
and I can
good.
cross my legs now, and I don't run out of breath. So it's the best. There's so much more things you can do now when you lose so much weight.
Yeah,
it's the
and
best
you
thing
feel
ever.
so much better.
Yeah, I feel amazing. I feel amazing. I'm so grateful, and I don't, I've never used drugs. I don't smoke. I do now, and you can't take mimosas from me. I love mimosas.
Yeah.
Brunch is my thing, so
Yeah.
I drink seldomly. But at the end of the day, I do what I can to take care of my body, and it's important. It's important to do that.
Well, that's good. I mean, I have had so much fun visiting with you, but I like to end these little broadcasts with a questionnaire similar to the one the great James Lipton did on Inside the Actors Studio. And this is sort of my take on it.
I love it.
Okay. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word?
Mm-hmm.
A curse word, but we'll save it for that one. Sophisticated.
Yeah,
I like sophisticated.
I like that.
I like sophisticated. I like to say things are sophisticated, and I'm sophisticated.
I like that.
Yes.
Okay, what's your least favorite word?
Not much of a word, but a phrase. Is that okay? Does that count?
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop it with the excuses. Don't come at me with excuses. Stop it. I don't like that. I don't like that phrase at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Gosh, Anne, I'm trying to keep it PG for Anne. Okay.
And I appreciate
yes,
that.
Yes, I am. Yes, because I respect you that. Okay. What ask the question. What turns you on?
What turns you on creatively?
Creatively.
Mm-hmm.
I just I think support.
Yeah.
I think because a lot of people want more of this, it drives me to give them more.
Yeah.
I'm very much a giver.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think support and just drive and my faith in God, honestly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so what turns you off creatively or spiritually or emotionally?
I try not to let anything do that, honestly.
Yeah.
But I will say, I have been victim of like ridicule on social media, like we were talking about earlier, and people, saying not nice things, and we say that, oh, that's not going to get the best of me if that ever happens. Well, it does. It does.
Sticks and stones and all that, but words do hurt.
It does, and so I try not to let anything tear me down, and I have to be very grateful, I'm very thankful that I have a really good support system that doesn't let me fall.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, that's good. What sound do you love the most?
Y'all set me up. That's not even fair. Okay, music.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I know this is gonna drop after you do that, but I understand you're emceeing the Battle of the Bands.
Yes, I am.
I'm so excited for you for that.
Thank you so
and
much.
It's already happened when you're seeing this.
I'm grateful.
So I'm sure you had a good time.
I'm sure it's going to be lovely, but I am grateful for the opportunity to do that. Listen, I don't turn down work. I watched my parents work no matter what the circumstances were.
Right.
And they all, no matter how much of a hard ass they work, I don't know if we curse, but I don't know, no matter how hard they were, they always were. I watched that. You know what I mean? Even when they were struggling on the bills, if they had to go get 2 jobs, they got 2 jobs.
Right.
I don't turn down any work. So there's that. But my favorite sound, I like music, Anne.
Yeah.
I'm a music person.
Any kind of music?
I listen to Spanish music. I listen to a lot of Spanish music. I'm Puerto Rican, so I like salsa, merengue, bachata, reggaeton, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yes, and the jingle to my podcast, The Public Affair.
Yeah, it's good.
I like that one too.
It's good. It's good. What sound do you hate?
Like that, when people are like moaning, and complaining,
whining,
like whining, shut up.
Want some cheese with that wine?
Yeah,
right.
And then this one person I don't like. I can't stand the sound of her voice, but that's it.
That's a personal problem.
Well, no, I don't like her. I just think her voice is annoying.
Okay. Well, what other profession would you have liked to try? I know you wanted to be
I've always wanted to be an entertainer. I started off by I wanted to be a singer, but I cannot sing. You know what I always wanted to do that wasn't this? Be a cop.
Really?
Yeah. I always thought that I would be like the coolest cop ever.
You would.
But I'm not very tough, and so they would walk all over me. I'd be the one that they all like, oh, that's Andrew, now we good. You know what I mean? But I always thought being a police officer would be an interesting job. Yeah. I always thought, oh, what if I joined the police academy? But I'm doing this now. I can't do that now. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But it doesn't make you appreciate men and women who do.
Oh yeah, I have a friend who's in the police academy right now. Big shout out to Joe. And I have my cousin's husband. He is a an NYPD officer in New York City.
Yeah.
You know, and he does a lot of undercover work, and so.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a tough job, but I always thought when I was growing up, oh, that'd be cool. Oh, and the weatherman. I wanted to be the weatherman too.
Oh, okay.
I did want to be the weatherman at one point.
Yeah. We have a lot of youngsters come through the station wanting to observe Matt Hines.
I always thought I'd be the weatherman.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I do need, though, because those questions are perfect for my show, for my guests.
Sure. I ripped it off from James Lipton.
We're taking it a different approach.
Okay. So what job do you know you would not want to do at all?
Oh, shit. What job don't I want to do? Like work in the cemetery. That's scary. Yeah. Right? Isn't that scary?
Well,
I watch a lot of zombie movies. I'm not about that life. No,
I'm on the Oakwood board.
Yeah.
You know, I love Oakwood Cemetery. It's beautiful, and it's a beautiful, quiet.
That's great
place, you know, of rest and repose.
I think
pretty statues.
I'm too exposed
to
the media.
So I guess I guess I'm not. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
for
sure.
But no, not everybody wants to be a gravedigger. I'm sure. No, but we appreciate the ones that work those big backhoes, and somebody has to do it.
But that's also a hard question too, because if times got tough, I would take any job.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I would take any job to make ends meet. Mm-hmm. Because, again, I come from that environment. You know what I mean? So,
right. Right. Okay, finally, what do you want to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I can't say this on the show. And I want all those questions on my show. I want God.
I'll give it to you.
Okay. I'm gonna say this in the most PG way that I can think of.
Please.
I want God, where we're standing in line to get into heaven. I want God to tell my friend Morrow, Andrew's allowed in heaven.
Okay.
And that's it. And we gotta keep it there, because then Anne's gonna get in trouble and we're gonna get flagged.
No, that's good.
But that's what I want.
Because he'll already be there. Morrow will be there.
He's gonna be behind me, and I want God to be like, no, Morrow, Andrew is allowed.
He can come in.
We have a joke. I can't say it on the show. I'm not saying it on the show. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Not on Anne's show, but on the public affair, we could say it.
Okay. And I can find the public affair where again?
YouTube.com/the public affair. We have an episode that comes out every single Monday, which I'm super grateful for. I've got more on the way. You can also stream it on anywhere you can get podcasts as well. So,
yeah.
And make sure you follow my Facebook and Instagram at The Public Affair, please.
Andrew, you are so much fun.
And
Thank you.
It was a pleasure being here. You don't understand. It's an honor. And to the Queen, thank you for having me on your show. Truly. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And we thank you for being with us.
Yes.
So join us again next time for Central Texas Life. Bye-bye.
Let's do it.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.